Good news can often get overlooked or buried by the negative in our everyday lives. So let's change that. I'm Adriana.
And I'm Wyatt.
We're just two ordinary people without any special qualifications or anything trying to navigate life. We invite you to join us as we share wholesome stories, news articles of hope, and ideas about how we can all make the world just a little bit brighter. We are Uplifting Positive Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Positive Stories. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Hope everybody's week is going well.
Yeah.
Staying positive, hopefully, as best you can.
Yes, we hope that this episode gives a little pick-me-up if you're on your way to work, or maybe you're just, I don't know, getting stuff done around the house. Who knows? Something to just make you smile a little bit. Today we got some really wholesome stories about people that went out of the way to help others, and so we're titling this one Heartwarming Helpers. A lot of stories of people offering advice to people that needed it, or a helping hand in a situation, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, just a lot of short stories here that I found really wholesome. So here we go. We're going to get started right away. Our first story comes from the subreddit Wholesome, and it is titled, I think I really helped someone who needed it the other day. The other day at work, I work at a large retail store. I was ringing up a woman who was buying a large suitcase. I asked her if she was going on a trip soon, and she said yes. But instead of a happy, excited expression on her face, she looked stressed. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, and I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to be gone and away from home for that long, she told me. Can I give you a piece of advice? I said to her. She said, please. I told her, it sounds simple, but just enjoy yourself. Whatever happens at home will be there when you get back, whether you're stressing about it or not. So just enjoy yourself. Wherever you are, whoever you're with, whatever you're looking at in the moment, just enjoy it. She paused and stared at me like she was processing what I just said to her. You know, I never thought of it like that. I then watched as the stress and fear drained from her face and was slowly replaced with a sense of calm. I think I'm going to do just that. I'm going to enjoy myself. It was clear that throughout whatever this random woman buying a suitcase was going through, not one person around her had ever told her to slow down and enjoy the ride. I can only hope that she does have the best 2 weeks away from home, and that her happiness can be found and spread, and that ripple effect continues. You never know what people are going through, and how just a simple reminder to enjoy every moment can truly transform the world around you. That small seed of positivity planted in someone's heart can grow and bloom into a garden of happiness. Yeah. I thought that was a really simple story, but also really profound, because it's so easy. The life just will continue to try to take from you in terms of like, hey, you got to pay attention to this. You should be worrying about this. You should be doing this. And especially in the days of today of social media and stuff like that, there's so much trying to grab for our attention at all times. Like, oh, but have you thought about this? Are you on top of this? Because if you're not, oh no, there's so much of that. And so that reminder to slow down and just enjoy yourself, you know, kind of unplug and just don't think about the stuff going on around this, everything else back at home, whether it's work stuff or stressed about, will my plants be okay when I get back? Are they going to get watered properly? You know, like those things that worry, those things are going to happen regardless, so whether you're there or not. So just don't worry about it. You can deal with it when you get home. Just enjoy yourself. I think that's a really simple reminder, but one that I think we forget to give to others and to ourselves when we're going to do on a vacation. So, yeah.
We see that similar with weddings and stuff, filming weddings with couples, that just giving reminders to couples that, hey, just take it in and enjoy the day.
Just enjoy it, yeah.
It's really easy to get wrapped up in, oh, things going on time, or like, is everybody happy? Like, things falling behind? Oh, no, it's not going according to plan. Just take a step back, enjoy the day.
Yep. Because you're going to remember how you felt on the day. That's really important. And you don't want to be remembering, oh, yeah, the timeline. Oh, my gosh, we were so behind and I was so stressed. You don't want that to be your memory.
Right.
Yeah, so a good reminder. All right, on to our next one here. This one comes from a subreddit. I don't know if I've used this subreddit before, but it's called Story. There are some fictional stories that people write on here as well, but some people do just post stuff about their life. This one was tagged as a personal experience, so here we go. This one was titled, I purchased a pregnancy test for a student who couldn't. Yesterday at the pharmacy, there was a girl going up and down the aisle, grabbing and setting down the same box 3 times. She finally wound up at the register with it, but when the cashier went to scan it, she froze. All she had were a couple of crumpled bills in her hand. She whispered, I'm short. I'll put it back. I simply went ahead and said to the cashier, put it on mine. She examined me with these enormous eyes as if she couldn't accept that someone she didn't know would do something like that. She thanked me repeatedly. She said outside that she was 17 years old and was afraid that her parents would find out that she had come in. She said she feared to come in. I told her that I understood more than she knew. I had no one to help me when I was her age either. Same fear, different circumstances. I remember that feeling of dread in the pit of my stomach that the whole world was ending and nobody would take me seriously when I was older. Right before we said our goodbyes, she gave me a hug so tight that I was left breathless. She said, "You don't know how much this means." Yes, I do. A single stranger needs to come forward and make the person less solitary at the most terrifying moment in his or her life. Yeah.
Well.
Simple story, but huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shows that sometimes paying for a pregnancy test, like, that's not super expensive, but doing something like that for somebody can mean so much more to them than you would ever imagine.
Yeah.
So being that helping hand in that moment and just stepping up and doing it. And we talk about that all the time on this podcast, but it's cool to see awesome examples like that and how much that affected her. So yeah.
Well, also the display of empathy as well, beyond just giving the
100% the understanding of it and stuff. So yeah, on to our next story here. This one comes from the subreddit Wholesome, and it is titled, "My new hairstylist made me cry today in a good way." I am a first-time mom of a 15-month-old. I've learned that the body changes so much postpartum, and it's hard to feel beautiful. I had to get a new hairstylist after my previous stylist moved away. I met the new stylist today for my haircut. She was such a sweetheart. We had talked about makeup, and I shared that I don't wear any because I'm so busy chasing my toddler around. To this, she said, "I'm a single mom, and I know how hard it is to feel good as a mom. After meeting you today, I want you to know that you are a beautiful person and your hair is absolutely gorgeous. I love the curl in your hair. It complements your face so much. And you definitely don't need makeup at all. You are beautiful and your family is lucky to have you." I literally cried. I needed the encouragement so much. Small moments of encouragement go a long way. We are often so timid to share words of encouragement with people, and I am grateful she took the time to share them with me. Yeah.
That's nice.
This one, I've heard so much about how hard it is postpartum and how you kind of feel like you lose yourself a little bit because your whole focus now is this little kid and trying to juggle all the stuff with life on top of that. And so sometimes moms kind of feel like they lose themselves in the process because they feel like they come last on the totem pole a little bit in terms of things that they can manage. It's like, well, he or she, my kid, needs my attention more, so I'm going to forego getting my nails done or getting my hair done or any of those things and instead focus on this. And so sometimes they can start to feel like, oh, am I pretty anymore? Or am I like myself anymore? It's just those feelings kind of creep in. And so that reminder that, no, you're beautiful and like you're a great mom and you don't need makeup to feel beautiful and like you already are beautiful, and like those things can make so much of a difference from what I've heard. And so being that person to do that for that mom, I mean, I think that's really, really impactful in a way that they might not fully even understand how much it meant to that mom. So yeah, little thing, but can make a huge difference.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Next one here, same subreddit. This one's pretty cool. This one is titled, "I gave a woman my shoes today."
Oh.
Yeah. I don't really know why I'm posting this. I don't feel like I need any recognition, but I'm having some feelings about it. So maybe need to share with some people to discuss without trying to seem like I'm bragging to people in my personal life about it. My husband and I were walking in our neighborhood to get lunch to take to the park. We saw a homeless woman a few times who was walking around barefoot. We live a few blocks from the main shelter in our city, so this wasn't super out of the ordinary. But seeing her hobbling with no footwear and filthy clothes like she'd been sleeping in the dirt just really got to me. We laid out our blanket and ate our food and saw her a few times walking around the park and hanging out with a few other people. I thought about running home to get her some of my old shoes, but before I could, I realized that she was leaving. So I shouted at her and asked her what size her feet were. She said 7. I'm an 8, so I ran over and I gave her my sandals. They're Clarks and have good arch support, so hopefully they'll be a good shoe to get her through the summer. I kicked myself a bit after. They were kind of expensive, and I've only had them a month. But I felt like it was the right thing to do, and I couldn't watch her walk away barefoot on the hot pavement without feeling like I should have done something to help. She was very grateful and cried. I don't give back to my neighbors as much as I should. We have so much. We donate our old clothes and leave our bottles on the curb, but I still think I can and should do more that will make a bit more impact. I think this will be the start of me contributing in more meaningful ways. It felt good, and I hope it makes a small difference in her quality of life, at least for a bit. Anyway, thanks for listening.
It was a nice gesture, especially
Yeah.
given how clearly they're valuable to them.
Oh, yeah, and that's how you know, like, you did a really big thing. If it's like, oh, that was hard to give those up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really meaningful thing then that you did that because that self-sacrifice. That's really, really hard to do, but really it can impact you in a big way, and it's clear it did to OP because they're saying now, like, that felt really good. I think I want to do more of that in more meaningful ways going forward. So it can really make a huge impact on yourself too. And also something that occurred to me when I first read this too is that might make even more of a difference for that woman than you imagine, because a lot of places have policies of like no shoes, no shirt, no service. So like a lot of places won't even let you come in if you don't have shoes. So that's like, it seems like, oh yeah, you know, obviously for walking in the dirt and stuff, it'll be more comfortable and stuff. But also, it might be kind of a necessity to help her in ways to get back on her feet that you might not have even thought about. So it's huge. And to have like nice quality shoes too. That's huge. So yeah, really, really, really cool. All right, on to our next story here. Same subreddit. I just found so many from this subreddit recently that I was like, these are great, and they all kind of fit this theme.
When you find a good subreddit, you just like go all in.
Yeah, because I find so many. It's like I get on a streak. All right, so this one is titled, I Made an Elderly Woman Cry This Week.
In a good way.
There's a lot of happy tears in this episode in the stories. Here we go. I have the opportunity to teach at this class where elderly people learn to use newer generation phones. I haven't done this before, as I've never really worked with people above 50 years old, so naturally I was a bit anxious. The initial deal was for me to teach one class a week. Over the weeks, and after a few good jokes, a bit of banter, and a lot of practical examples, I've received such positive feedback that we've now extended to 4 classes a week. So they went from 1 class a week to 4 a week. That's crazy. I didn't think it would get any better until today. One of the elderly ladies who attended the course told me about her son in the 50s, about how much she misses him, about him having a lot of citations in his field, and about him being a professor of bioinformatics in the US. At that point, we were revising downloading photos from Google, so I tested her a bit. I instructed her to write her son's full name, and when she did, I asked her to go to images. Tears began to fall on her cheeks. There was a professional photo of him, to which she said, I didn't even know about this photo. I was like, this photo can be yours as a memory to cherish. Just long press it, and press download images, and you'll have it in your gallery. She then began to thank me and showed her other classmates what she'd managed to do. I hope you all end up working with at least one person that cherishes your work. I know a lot of it can be thankless, but God help me, such an impact has an immense value. Yeah.
That's sweet. Have we talked about these kind of classes on the show before, I feel like?
Have we? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Not obviously, it's not the same story, but not the same time. But I feel like we've talked about like classes for elderly people, like using new technology and stuff. I don't know if it was for phones specifically, but it was something like that.
It might be. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I think that's a great idea though, because it's so. I mean, it's even like certain technologies at this point that we're like, oh my gosh, it's kind of hard to keep up a little bit with certain things. Yeah. New additions and like new apps that are like super popular and being used for everything. It's like, oh, there's a new app that we need to figure out. Oh, okay. It just doesn't come as naturally as you get older and older. It just becomes harder. And so having those classes and stuff to help them to like learn these things and actually, because a lot of times people are so busy that they don't want to be stopped to asked these things, unfortunately. A lot of people are not very patient with teaching stuff with technology. And so...
Be fair, some people aren't patient with learning it either.
It's also true.
I will say, like, you and your dad share this in common that you guys get frustrated at technology, you know?
It's true. When I switched from PC to Mac, I struggled.
That was a bad day for you.
It was a bad day. And then I figured it out, and then we were good.
Yeah, you were unhappy for a bit.
I was, but I figured it out, and we were good. So having a set venue and a set time aside where there's someone dedicated to help you, even if you're struggling to get it, I think that's a great idea, and super cool that it became popular enough that they extended it to from 1 class a week to 4 classes a week, and that it got that much positive feedback from the people that attended. So that's really, really awesome and cool that it was able to be used in that way to help her remember her son and have those images easily accessible of him on her phone when she didn't know she could do that. That's really, really cool. All right, on to our next little story here. Same subreddit. This one is titled A Tiny Post Office Snack Angel. And it says, at the post office yesterday, a little girl, no older than 2, was standing in the middle of the lobby holding a crinkly bag of Funyuns. She walked around holding them as an offering to everyone, including me. With the solemnity of someone performing an ancient rite, she held a small piece of Funyun up to each person in turn, making gentle eye contact like, this is for you if you need it. No words, just pure generosity. People smiled, laughed, most politely declined, but she kept going undeterred like it was her duty. She didn't say much, but her whole being was expressive. She was open-hearted and serious about her mission of crunchy, onion-flavored goodwill. Honestly, it was the most tender moment of my day, possibly my week. I thought that was really cute.
That's cute.
Offering a helping hand, offering a Funyun to anyone that might want a Funyun. I thought it was just a sweet
helping hand should always be accompanied by a Funyun.
By a Funyun, yeah, exactly. Keep little daily pick-me-up.
Mm-hmm.
Next one here, story, is from the subreddit Heartwarming. This is a screenshot someone posted, and it says, I put some action figures on eBay. A mom bought 2, but not the other 28 that I had. She messaged to say that her autistic son was excited to get them. She wished she could have bought more. I sent her all 30 of them. I got a phone call. She thanked me and cried. We're all friends to this day.
Oh.
Isn't that really wholesome?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Super, super sweet.
Well, they know they're going to an owner that's going to appreciate them.
Exactly, yeah. If it was like your treasured collection of toys of Transformers and you know that they're going to be so stoked about it, sometimes that's worth so much more than the money you would have gotten from that.
Was it Transformers?
I think so, right? Oh, I don't know if it was Transformers. It was action figures. I don't know why my brain went to that. It was Transformers.
I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I was supposed to be like, sick, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, but action figures, still really, really cool.
It might have been Transformers. Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, super awesome. All right, our next story here comes from the subreddit Ask Reddit, and the question was, what are random acts of kindness you have done? And this is one that someone shared. They said, the other day, my husband and I went down to get some breakfast, and on the way back to the car, we passed a homeless man who asked us for money so I can bathe. My heart broke. We brought him to the nearest 7-Eleven so he could pick up some food, water, and toiletries. While we were walking, we asked him about himself. Kenneth was from a big family, but everyone had passed away except for his sister, who was mentally ill. Kenneth said he himself had a mental illness, and although he was fully conversational, it appeared he had some sort of learning disability. Kenneth had been homeless for 6 days, 2 of which he spent in jail for falling asleep in a park. I asked him why he hadn't stayed in a shelter, and he said it's because the shelters cost $7. When we met him, he only had $1. He said people offer to give him food a lot, but don't like giving him money because they're afraid he'll spend it on bad things. In fact, because Kenneth has AIDS, the only drugs he takes are his AIDS medications, and all of those were stolen his second night on the street. The thief took his entire backpack with his AIDS medication, his clothes, his toiletries, and the one thing he needed most, his identification. Kenneth explained that without his ID, he is no one. The government won't give him any sort of aid. He can't apply for food stamps, disability, or even get a new supply of medications. A new ID costs $25. In Kenneth's mind, a fortune. It was tipping 100 degrees and Kenneth was pouring sweat. We found some shade and rested a minute while he told us how hard it is to cool down when you're homeless. No one lets him into their stores unless he's going to spend money. Some places won't even let him use the bathroom because they're afraid that he'll bathe in there. But what upset him the most is the way that people look at him. He was so scared that people were afraid of him. He didn't want them to see him and think he was a bad person or dangerous. In truth, he was one of the nicest, most gentle people you could imagine. When we asked where he had been staying, he said that the only place you're allowed to stay is in the woods, out of the public eye. But along with AIDS, arthritis, and a bad knee, Kenneth also has glaucoma, so it's very hard for him to see, especially at night. He hates staying in the woods because he's afraid of bugs and snakes, and this being in Florida, there are many. The other night, something bit him. He startled, got up to his feet, and hit his head on a low-hanging branch. He had the bite and the cut to prove it. The next night, he chanced it and slept in a park. He was arrested and spent the following 2 days in jail. So, we asked Kenneth what he needed. He said he only needed enough money for the shelter. $7 gets you 3 nights in the best shelter. They have showers. The other ones do not. An umbrella for the rain and the blistering heat. Some money for a cell phone. A new ID so he could get his medication and apply for government aid. And he whispered to my husband some clean underwear. We bought him what we could at 7-Eleven, went to the nearest ATM and got him another $140, gave him our phone numbers and told him to call us as soon as he could so we'd know how he was doing. Kenneth crumpled in tears. He gave us hugs, 2 each, told us that he would call us that afternoon as soon as he got a phone. That was Sunday, and we haven't heard from him yet. We're going to go back downtown this weekend and see if we can track him down. I hope he's okay. Yeah.
Wow. I don't know why shelters cost money.
I didn't either. But
there must be some shelters out there, or like some states. I don't know. I know here locally the shelters are free. Granted, they fill up fast.
They do fill up fast.
That's kind of the issue there.
And he was saying that it was for the best shelter, the one that had showers. So it could be that it was a higher end one that he wanted to stay at so he could bathe, maybe.
I still just never heard of a shelter that cost money.
Yeah, it was $7 for 3 days, he said. So.
And granted, it's not a lot of money, but like when you're in that situation, it might as well be $1,000.
Right, exactly. If you can't get money, and like he was saying, and we've talked about this on the podcast before too, about like people not wanting to give money because they're worried they're going to spend it on other bad things. So it's a hard situation all around, but super awesome that this family not only gave him the money he needed, but they went to 7-Eleven and got him all the objects he needed right then too, because he was saying like it's hard to be allowed to go into stores and stuff like that, you know, like so yeah, them going out of their way to get him those things that he needed and stuff, yeah, to get him on his feet. And again, crazy and super generous. So yeah. All right, on to our news article for today. So this comes from the website 6abc.com. And it is titled, "This Amazing Barbershop Offers Discounted Haircuts to Kids as Long as They Read Aloud." So, kind of a cool idea.
Okay.
So,
what are they reading?
They're reading books that the store owns, which is super cool. So, this little barbershop in Michigan is striving to help kids achieve higher reading levels while they get their hair cut. The owner, Ryan Griffin, started this off, called the Fuller Cut. That's what the barbershop's called. They offer a $2 discount on haircuts to children that choose to read aloud while they have their haircut trimmed or buzzed. So $2 discount. They have a huge collection of books to choose from. They have 75 to 100 rotating titles to choose from. And kids are also welcome to bring their own books if they prefer. And then they said that primarily every one of the books in the barbershop, they focus on a different inspiring African American throughout history. Okay. So all of their books have positive images of African Americans, whether it's astronauts, athletes, or writers, says the owner of the barbershop.
That's cool.
Yeah, super cool. They started this back in 2008, so it's been going on for a really long time. And word has spread that they have this discount and stuff, and it's become very, very popular. And the goal is to have kids see other kids in the barber chair reading, especially younger kids seeing older kids doing this, and then the younger kids thinking, oh, that's cool, they're reading out loud and stuff, and thinking, I want to do that too. And so it inspires them to feel brave enough to read out loud and to want to read as well. And they're hoping that fosters that love of reading early so that they continue doing it throughout their lives. And then because fostering reading is a huge thing for kids in so many ways, and learning things and increasing vocabulary and just so many ways. It's so beneficial. So yeah,
reading out loud is stressful when you're a kid sometimes.
It's true. It's that bravery too.
But it's a useful skill though. I mean, obviously, or you could be reading Reddit stories on a podcast show and stuff.
Never know.
But you remember back in the day, like in kids, like you get called out in class, yes. Like, can someone read this section, and like you're like the pit in your stomach, and like I can read this confidently, and then you start like
stumbling
over everything as you try to read it out loud. Even during the show, sometimes you realize, sometimes it's hard to speak things out loud reading them.
It's true. You're like, wait a second, how do I say that word again? It's been a long time since I've said, I think in this episode it was solemnity. I don't even know if I pronounced that right now. It's solemnity. I don't know.
To be fair, it is. Some things are much easier to read than to say.
Yeah.
Like you could have like the best written thing, but then you try to speak it out loud, you're like, oh my gosh.
How do I say that?
It's like I think Harrison Ford to the George Lucas once in regards to the Star Wars script in terms of like, I think the context was like the Flying the Millennium Falcon. And it's like, you can write this crap, George, but you can't say it.
It doesn't sound right when you
censored it a little bit there, but that was the general idea. It's like you can write it, but you can't say it.
100%.
So it's good that they're having kids like kind of get practice doing that. I'm assuming it's with books that are more. I would assume you'd start with books that are more easier to speak.
Oh
out
yeah,
loud
and then they increase their reading level as they go. Going back to the whole reading in school thing, I saw a post, and I'm sure most people have seen this post already because it's been viral for a while, about Yeah, I was always the kid that when we were reading in class, we were all assigned paragraphs in order. I would read ahead to see which paragraph was mine and read it in my head to practice before it was my turn. And I think that's really where my anxiety began.
Yeah, like
I feel like I relate to that on some level because I definitely did that.
Or like I would do that and read ahead, like that's gonna be what I'm gonna volunteer for, and then still not volunteer.
Yeah, I'm actually good.
I'm like preparing for it, I'm gonna do it, and then I don't do it, or I'm about to do it, and then someone else takes. I'm like, never mind. I'm good. Of time of anxiety. Or then when you do get called on, you still stumble. Like, damn it.
I practiced this in my head. I was gonna be so good. Yeah,
but also
so
that's
funny.
like it's also kind of funny thing. Like, what do you think was gonna happen though if you were successful at it? You know,
yeah,
like
they're not gonna like give you an award or something.
Yeah, you're not. The class isn't gonna like give you a standing ovation.
Wow.
You know, suddenly, you know, like I don't know. Maybe your school's cool like that. Mine wasn't.
So funny. The cool thing too is that they have all these books to choose from, and then if a child does start a book on one visit for their barbershop, they'll mark the spot where the kid left off, so that next time they come in for their visit, they can continue where they left off. So that's kind of cool.
I feel lots of kids reading the same book though. Wouldn't that get
they probably have like little like colored markers where they put their names and stuff in it. I bet
depends how popular this place is and how
books
there
they are. Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, I thought that was a really, really cool idea. And like $2 off discount, you know, it's nice for the families. You know, $2 off is $2 off. But also it's.
I mean, I swear, like every time I get a haircut, the price goes up a little bit. So, you know,
every dollar counts.
Every discount counts.
Yeah, so $2 discount is really cool for the parents as well. And just the owner knowing that they're making an impact on kids. That's really, really cool through their business. So, yeah, all around super cool idea. Very neat. So, yeah. And with that, we will end today's podcast episode. If you have any positive stories that you would like to share or a news article that you happened upon that you think would be cool for us to share on here, please send them to us at upliftingpositivestories@gmail.com. We'd love to be able to share them.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button or leave a comment.
That'd be awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week.
And stay positive.